Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered what is the meaning of a very commonly used word called impeachment? What is impeachment? Impeachment is nothing but the action of calling into question the integrity or validity of something. So that is the word for the day. My name is Vaishnavi and welcome to this session of RBI Grade B brought to you by Talent Sprint. Let's get started and see where this session goes. Okay, let's start. Alright, so here we have the first set of questions. The first set of questions in these set of questions, what you're supposed to do is in each of the questions given below, a sentence is given with one blank. Below each sentence, 4 words are given and you are supposed to find 2 words that can fit the sentence. 5 options are given with various combinations of these. Okay. Alright, something that you should be very careful about when you are solving RBI questions is RBI has to do, the words in RBI has to do a lot with government related word. That is the legislative and the executive body of the constitution. Okay, so make sure that you are very well thorough, and the words that are used in RBI exams are very nice words. They are words that are not very often used and not very common, so you got to be very careful while preparation of your vocabulary for RBI questions. Alright, so let's start with the question. Prudent financial planning requires a saver to decide on her relative dash between safe and risky assets based on her life stage, income, financial goals and risk appetite. Okay, so before we get to the question itself, let's understand what is the meaning of the words that are not so familiar. Okay, so let's start with the word prudent itself, the very first word that we have. What is the meaning of prudent? The meaning of the word prudent is acting with or showing care for or thought for the future. Okay, so someone who's very prudent is someone who shows a lot of care for their future. Okay, now next word is I think we should discuss is asset. Okay, what is the meaning of the word asset? It is an item or property that is owned by a person or a company. Okay, so it can be anything. It can be a property or an item. Okay, owned by a person or a company, and that is regarded to have a great value. Okay, so that is the meaning of asset. And finally, the word appetite. Appetite is just a natural desire to eat or to satisfy bodily needs. Okay, so here we are talking about risk appetite. So how much of risk can you actually take? Okay, so the question is, prudent financial planning requires a saver to decide on her relative dash between safe and risky assets. Okay, so prudent financial planning, that means some planning which is for the future. Okay, so planning like that requires a saver, that means the person who's saving, to decide on her relative dash. Relative what? Ration? Is it grant? Is it allocation? What are we talking about? Okay, or is it distribution? Okay, so we are talking about between safe and risky. Okay, what is the difference between? So we have to find a word which shows equal weightage to safe and risky assets. Okay, so words that show equal weightage to that is distribution. Okay, you understand the meaning of the word ration, right? Assets, yes. So what is the meaning of the word ration? It is the meaning of the word ration is a fixed amount of a commodity that is distributed or officially allocated to different people. Okay, to person during time of probably war or shortage of or scarcity of food or ration. Okay, so that is ration. So it cannot be ration. The next word is grant. Can it be grant? You understand the meaning of grant, right? Grant is, the meaning is to allow, okay, to agree or to allow. Alright, and finally allocation. What is the meaning of allocation? Agree to give something, okay, agree to give or allow something. So we have distribution, we have ration, we have grant, and we have allocation. So the word that goes for two things between safe and risky asset would be distribution as well as allocation. Okay, based on her life stage, income, financial goals, and risk appetite. So these are the factors that are to be considered while we are doing the financial planning. Okay, so the words that will go well with these the blank that is given are distribution as well as allocation. Alright, so distribution and allocation. Alright, like I said, the meanings I have just discussed. Prudent, the meaning of prudent. Please make sure that you remember the meanings of the words that are discussed, because these words will keep popping up again and again. Acting with or showing care and thought for the future. Okay, so synonyms could be sagacious is another synonym for prudent. Alright, remember that. Judicious, sagacious, these are the synonyms for this word. Okay, and any other word, I don't think. We have discussed appetite, we have discussed asset, and we have also discussed distribution and ration and grant. Okay, alright, so the right answer will be A and D. Right combination will be A and D. Now let's move on to the next question, shall we? The next question is: the climactic event was the unprecedented press conference at which four senior most judges alleged the CJI had dashed from convention while using his power to draw up the roster. Okay, now again, the words that are used, let's discuss the words first, and then we will go to the what is the meaning of the statement, and then see which option would suit the best. Okay, so the first word is climactic. What is the meaning of climactic? If anyone can tell me, what is the meaning of the word climactic? Okay. Okay, the meaning of the word climactic is acting as probably a compilation or culmination of a series of events. Okay, so it can be basically the climax is nothing but climactic. Okay, the climactic event was the unprecedented. What is the meaning of unprecedented? Something that is not known before. Okay, something that has never been known or done before is unprecedented. Press conference at which four senior most judges alleged the CJI had dashed from convention while using his power to draw up the roster. What is the meaning of the word roster? Roster is nothing but a schedule or a timetable sort of a thing. Okay, so a person, it can be a list of things showing the plan for the schedule or something like that. Okay, so that is roster. So what is said in this statement is Okay. Let's look at the statement. The climactic event was, so climactic is nothing but the climax. Unprecedented, that means never done or known before. At which for alleged the CJI had dash from convention, had what? The CJI, so four senior most judges, they alleged. What is the meaning of the word alleged? Alleged means, let me write it down for you, something that is said without proof. Okay, to have taken place in a specified or illegal or undesirable quality or quantity. Okay, the CJI had dash from the convention while using his power to draw up the roster. So he drew up the roster and said that the four judges drew up the roster and said that the CJI had dash from the convention. So had the CJI buried from the convention? No, it cannot be buried. Gone from the convention? Okay, yes, they can leave from the convention. Departed, again, gone and departed are suggest the same meaning. Okay, so yes, it will be gone and departed. So B and C is the right combination, and that is option number 2. All right. Okay. Your explanation good, but please give some time for us to read question. Please show PPT. I'm so sorry, guys. I completely forgot that I will keep that in mind. Okay, next time onwards that will not happen. I will show you the question and make sure that the explanation goes on side by side. Okay, so if you can see the PPT now, you can see the right answer is option number 2. All right, B and C. Okay, let's go on. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, UNESCO recently dashed Chennai in its Creative Cities network for the city's contribution to classical music. Okay, so UNESCO is UNESCO recently what? They must have either appreciated Chennai for the Creative Cities network, in its Creative Cities network, for the city's contribution to classical music. Okay, so they must have awarded or recognized Chennai for its Creative Cities network. Okay, for the contribution in classical music. So have they included? So will it be included? Will it be involved? Will it be covered, or will it be inserted? Now, what is the meaning of involved? Involved or include, it means take someone in. Okay, take someone or something in a certain group. Okay, so that is inclusive of, involving of. Okay, now on the other hand, covered is something that is enveloped or surrounded by something. Okay, so it cannot be covered because we are not talking about Chennai being covered by UNESCO. Okay, last option that we have is inserted, and inserted means something that is pushed or to fit. Okay, so something that is pushed to fit. So obviously UNESCO was not trying to push Chennai to fit in this category of recognizing Chennai in the Creative Cities network. Okay, excuse me. So it will definitely be A and B. Let's get back to the PPT. It will be included and involved. Okay, so option A and B. Alright, so the right answer is option A and B. Yes, most of you got it right. Okay, now this one was pretty simple, so let's move on to the let's move on to the next question. Okay, any doubts, guys, still here? I don't, if you do, then please keep posting your concerns, and also please, if you have doubts, also put it on the dashboard, okay, so that I can keep reading it and answering your doubts, and we can have a doubt clarification session later. Alright, let's go on to the next question. Now the next question is, Sri Lanka's local government elections dash to be held on February 10th have elicited the interest of a national election, and with good reasons. Okay, now what is the meaning of elicit? Elicit means evoke or to draw out. Okay, so that is the meaning of elicited. It is a verb, so that's why it is used in the past form. Okay, so what has the Sri Lankan local government elections done that is to be held? Okay, Sri Lanka's local government election dash to be held. Okay, so it can be, we are talking about a date. Okay, so something that has been put on a certain date. Okay, so it has been fixed for a certain date. Okay, so but usually we schedule something for a particular day. Okay, or we do not fix something for a day, we schedule it. Okay, so, or we fix it as well. Okay, it can be fixed or scheduled. Okay, it cannot be arranged. Okay, we do not arrange things on a particular day, we schedule things on a particular day, and we again, definite is which, this is an adjective over here, and we are not talking about an adjective. Okay, and definite means clearly stated or decided. Okay, so we are not talking about clearly stated or decided, we are talking about fixing a schedule or a date. So the right answer will be option B and option D. Alright, so the fifth option is the right answer. Okay, yes, B and D is the right answer. So I do not think this was also very it wasn't a tough one. Okay, I do not think you guys might have found a lot of problem in this question. So let's move on to the next question and see what is in store for us. Okay, now the next question is, India is an aspirational economy. Now what do you mean by the word aspirational? Something that is characterized by aspiration. Okay, to achieve, probably it can be for social or it can be for material success. Okay, social prestige or material success. Okay, so aspiration is aspire for social prestige and material success. So we usually say that I'm a bank aspirant, or I am probably MBA aspirant. So what is aspiration? Aspiration is nothing but a desire or to succeed in either fields or both the fields, in the field of social prestige as well as in the field of material success. Okay, it can be either of it. Okay, now let's get back to the question. And this makes deferring one's consumption a dash difficult decision for the income earner. Now what is the meaning of deferring? Again, deferring, ing form is used, that means it is a verb. Okay, so what is the meaning of deferring? It means put off. Okay, put off where? To a later stage. basically to postpone. Okay. Okay, so what does the statement says? India is an aspirational economy, and this makes deferring one's consumption. So India is an aspirational economy. That means we are all very aspirational in the form of we all need success, and we are all looking for material success. Okay, material as well as social prestige sort of success, and this makes deferring one's consumption, this makes probably postponing one's consumption a dash difficult decision for the income earner. So it makes a, let's look at the options now. One's consumption a specifically difficult decision for the income earners, a singularly difficult decision. We are talking about this being the most important or most difficult decision. Okay, so we are specifically talking about one's consumption. Okay, deferring one's consumption is what we are specifically talking about. Okay, so it will be option A definitely. Are we just singularly talking about it? No, again, we are not being that only one thing we are talking about. We are being just specific or particular. These two are synonyms. Specifically or particularly, they are synonyms, and thus the answer will be A and C, or C and A. That is option 3. Alright. Defer your admission. Yes, in a university. But again, whatever you have said, Sony, you have not made a proper sentence with which I can understand what you are trying to say. So if you can make a sentence, structure a sentence in such a way that the meaning of the word itself is clear from the statement that you make, that would be wonderful. Okay. So till you guys are doing that, let's move on to the next question. Okay. Alright, so the next question, we have a different set of direction. What you're supposed to do in the next question is, in each of the sentence given below, okay, which is then divided, not than divided, which is then divided into 4 parts, out of which 2 parts are grammatically correct and other 2 parts have error in them. So this is also, this must be very simple for you guys, because again, we have solved a lot of questions related to error spotting, and this type of error, like I have discussed in my previous class, that this type of error is easier to find out because you have more errors, so the probability increases. Okay, so let's see how you guys do in these questions. Okay, alright, we will also be looking at the meaning side by side, because meanings are very, very important. Okay, alright. So 18 years ago, as the millennium draw to a close, okay, 18 years ago, here is the error right here, 18 years ago. Now we are talking about something that happened in the past. As the millennium draw, okay, draw is the present form. Why are we using the present form when we are talking about a past incident? So it will be drew to a close. The annual ministerial meeting of the World Trade Organization in Seattle in the US was derailed by the fury of thousands of street protesters, denounced the forces of globalization and the government which represents them. Now, since we are talking about, the whole statement has been divided into, we are talking about a past incident. Okay, the entire statement is in one tense, because here derailed, all the words or the verbs that we are using are in the past form, represented. But if you see the C option, there is one verb that is not in the past form. The street protesters denounce. They denounced. What is the meaning of denounced? Condemn. Okay, so the meaning of denounce is nothing but condemn. So remember that. Okay, so the error is clearly in option C as well as option A. So then we have the error in A and C. The error is in option A and C. So that is the fourth option. Alright. Okay. Yes, criticize, condemn, all these are the synonyms of denounce. Okay, denouncing something. So if you can, okay, you got the synonyms. Now can you give me antonyms of denounce? That means to praise or appreciate. What are the words that we use to praise or appreciate? If you can give me that, that would be wonderful. Okay, so keep typing, and I only see few of you typing out the answer. Guys, please discuss. The more you discuss, the more you remember. Okay, so make sure you keep discussing the answers right here. Okay, even if it is wrong, it does not matter. Even if your comment is not read, it does not matter. You will be clear as to what you know and what you should know. Okay, so please type out the antonyms of denounce. Alright, till then we'll move on to the next question. Okay, now the next question is, the other corrective comes from the top. Institutional leaders are evaluated by its funding. Okay. Now, the other corrective comes from the top. Okay, so we are talking about corrective comes from the top. Institution leaders are evaluated by its funding and accreditation agencies. Okay, now why are we using its? What should we replace its by? Because we are talking about comes from the top. Okay, where institution leaders are evaluated by dash funding and accreditation agencies. First, before we go to that, let's understand the meaning of accreditation. What is the meaning of accreditation? It is the act of granting what? Credit. Okay, we are talking about credit as in points or good marks or recognition. Okay, and these are specially done for educational institution. Okay, so, and why are these done? To see if the college or the school is maintaining the requirements or the suitable requirements for students to study and things like that. So that is why accreditation is important. Okay, so if there are a lot of agencies like that, and they provide accreditation to these schools and companies to see if they are meeting the minimum standard of probably teaching or training. Okay, now what is the meaning of diminished? Meaning of diminished is something that Can you tell me the meaning of diminished? It is a very common word and it has a very simple meaning. Yes, accreditation. Approve, honor, flatter. Yes, approve, honor, flatter are the antonyms of denounce. Praise, derailed, derailed. honor, approve. Yes, the meaning of diminish is something that goes down, declines, or it is all to do with downward descent. Okay, so something that probably declines or depreciates. Okay, now let's go to the question once again. The other corrective comes from the top. Institute leaders are evaluated by its funding and accreditation agencies. By their funding and accreditation agencies, and made aware that their future leadership opportunities are diminished from every petty action and slipshod committee work. What is the meaning of slipshod? Okay. Before that, when we talk about downward descent, okay, when we talk about diminish, something becoming lower, something becoming less, then what do we do is, let's go to the question. We talk about diminished by. Okay, it is never from. So the preposition that is used after diminished is wrong. So we have the error in option D as well as in option B. If you can clearly see, slipshod is careless. Okay, I'm so sorry, I don't know what is wrong with me today. I am just forgetting to toggle the screen between the PPT and anyways, I apologize for that. This will not happen again. I will keep the focus on the PPT itself and not come back to... Okay, let's just get back to the PPT, okay? Okay, so it will be... The right answer will be... error is in option B as well as in D, okay? So option number 5 is the right answer. Okay. All right. If this is clear, then can we move on to the next question, because there were two errors that we need to be very careful, very small, minute errors that people overlook, okay? So you have to be very, very careful while reading it, okay? Sometimes even the very brilliant ones, even the ones who are very thorough with their grammar, they seem to overlook these kind of errors. So you have to be very careful which preposition goes with what. That is one thing. Second thing is, which sort of pronoun are we using for which sort of statement, okay? So let's go back to the PPT and see the next question, okay? Now we have the next question. Beyond blaming the government and the bureaucracy, if you can tell me the meaning of the word bureaucracy again. It would be great, okay? So what is the meaning of bureaucracy? Just swaying away from the topic a little, I think I have discussed this, but let me just go back to it once again. Remember when if we did not discuss, then you do not have to remember it, but whenever you make sure that you remember this, that whenever you have the suffix cracy, okay, C-R-A-C-Y, that means rule of, okay, rule. Okay, so democracy is demos, people. Rule, we have learned it in civics, rule by the people, of the people, for the people is democracy, okay? On the other hand, when we are talking about plutocracy, so if you do not know the name of all the planets except Earth, name of most of the planets have been taken from the Greek gods. Okay, name of Greek gods, and Pluto is the god of wealth. Okay, so when we talk about plutocracy, it is to do with the rich. Okay, so plutocracy is ruled by the rich. If we talk about autocracy, auto is self and cracy is rule. So autocracy, self rule. Okay, someone who proclaims himself to be the leader and starts ruling the country is plutocracy. Theocracy, theos or theism is believe in God, and theos is God. It's just the word given for God, okay, which is again Greek. So ruled by God, that does not mean that God comes down and starts ruling a certain country. It means that the countries which are considered next to God, okay, people who are considered next to God, like the priests, like the priests and the popes, they rule the country. Okay, so we have a very nice example of theocracy, that is Vatican City. I hope all of you know that Vatican City is not a city, it is a country. Okay, very small country, but it is a country. So places like that are called theocratic nations. Okay, because they are ruled by popes or the priests. Okay, so and bureaucracy is a group of officials ruling the country. Okay, bureaucracy. So Nepal recently turned into a bureaucratic nation. Alright, so that is about rule. Let's get back to the question. Okay. Okay, so beyond blaming the government and the bureaucracy, the usual suspect the usual suspects. Okay, that means beyond blaming the government and bureaucracy. So these are the two things that we usually suspect or blame. Okay, it is important to looking. Okay, beyond blaming the government and the bureaucracy, this is something that we often do. So this isn't continuous. Okay, but the usual suspects, we are talking in simple present over here. It is important to look. It will not be in continuous, it will be look inward and ask whether our academics displays or academics, okay, we are talking in plural form, and here again displays, it will be the plural verb that we use for the subject academic should be display, not displays. Okay, so when you have an s or an es, it becomes, for verb it is the other way around than the noun. Okay, so in verb usually when you have s or an es, it becomes it gives the singular, supports the singular form of subject. Okay, adequate ethnic commitment to excellence. Alright, so this one was also pretty simple. The errors are very evident. So we have the error in option B as well as in option C. So the right answer is option B and option C. Okay, any doubts still here? If you guys, B and C, yes, very obvious, right? Okay, slipshod, no care. Okay, someone, okay, without taking care of something. Alright, so I hope these sections were clear to you, because they were very easy. They were like cakewalks, right? Cakewalk, remember that. Now, let's go on to the next question, and I will be showing you the PPT now. Okay. Alright, moving on to the next question. Loss of the candidate to a rival institution is considering a serious failure. Okay, we are talking again in which tense are we talking in? Remember, each section should have a particular structure of tense that is used. So loss of candidate to a rival institution is considering a serious failure. Is it considering a serious failure or it is considered a serious failure? So it will be considered a serious failure. So right here we have the error in option A, a serious failure, as excellence was seen, okay, was seen past to be a precious commodity with the heads of such institutions held accountable. Okay, did you see an error? Loss of the candidate to a rival institution is considered a serious failure as excellence. Okay, as excellent was seen. No, we are talking about a general statement, something that has to be in simple present. Okay, we are talking about the usual or the something that happens usually. Okay, so we are talking about a usual occasion. So it talks about loss of the candidate to a rival institution is considered a serious failure. Okay, it is considered a serious failure as excellence is seen to be a precious commodity with the head of such institution held accountable. So who is held accountable? The head of the institution, and the error that we have is in A and B. So the right option that we will be selecting is A and B. Someone is saying A and C. Yes, it will be A and C, not, no, sorry, I'm sorry, A and B, not A and C. Those who think it is A and C, can you please tell me what do you think is the error in the C section? C part of the error. Okay. Again, not something you should always remember that you have to be thorough with. I have repeatedly told you that you have to be very, very thorough, and you should have a keen eye for tenses, subject-verb agreement, pronouns, as well as the usage of word. Okay, so it can be any of these errors. Okay, and usually it is subject-verb agreement or tenses related error. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, now the next question is, we seek exceptional individuals, those can develop. Okay, don't you think there's something wrong in this statement? We seek exceptional individuals, dash can develop. Okay, we are talking about exceptional individual. Okay, so why are we using the pronoun those? It should be, we are talking about person. So person, we usually, what kind of pronoun do we use for person? We use who can develop. Okay, who can develop a world-class program of research and have a strong commitment to teach at both the graduate or undergraduate's level. Now, if we are using, okay, till here everything looks fine. We seek exceptional individuals who can develop a world-class program of research. Okay, so we are seeking for individuals who can develop a world-class program, as in a very nice program of research, and have a strong commitment to teach. Okay, someone who's very dedicated to teaching. Okay, at both, so we are using both as in both the things, as in two things. The graduate. Now, why are we using or undergraduate levels? If we are talking about both, then it should be graduate and undergraduate levels. So the error is in option A and option D. So the right option that you will tick is, or mark, is A and D. That is the fifth one. Yes, I think all of you are getting this. This one is pretty easy. You guys are doing awesome. Very nice. Both and, yes, right. Absolutely. Okay. So I don't think there is anything more to discuss in this question. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. It is unfortunate that Justice Shukla has not meted out his resignation or sought retirement, the options available to him to avoid the ignominy of impeachment in the parliament. Now, this is a different type of question. I'm sorry I did not talk about it. Okay, so let's see what you have to do in this sort of question. In this questions, you will be given idioms or phrases, which is again very common. So idioms and phrases, again, you have to be very thorough with it. We will be taking a session on idioms and phrases as well. Okay, separate session on idioms and phrases, lot of sessions. Because as it is becoming very important for banking as well as SSC exams. So what are you supposed to do in this? They will be bold, idioms or phrase, and you have to choose the right option, which are the synonyms or talks about the same meaning of the word that are, or phrase or the idiom that are in bold. Okay, so let's go see the first question. It is unfortunate. Okay, what is the meaning of meted out? Okay, this is a phrase. Again, this is the verb part and this is the preposition part. So this is what is this? Phrasal verb. Alright. So what is the meaning of meted out? It means to give something, okay, to the people who one decides, can be the government or someone at a higher stature, who one decides should, or even a manager or a boss should get it. Okay, so let me just explain the meaning of meted out once again. Okay, meted out is generally, not always, usually used as a negative form of phrase, which means something, a punishment that has been decided for a certain person by the government or by the king, or it can be anyone, okay, or it can be a reward as well that has been probably taken out for or rewarded to a person or person or an employee. Okay, so to give something to the people, to the people who one decides should get it, who one decides, it can be anyone. Okay, it can be someone with a higher authority, like I said. Okay, so let's an example sentence on it could be huge funds were meted out. Huge not funds, okay, huge fines were meted out as a punishment for his crime. Okay, so he was imposed a lot of fine. Okay, so this is the negative use of the word meted out. Okay, so now let's look at the rest of this statement. To his meted out his resignation or sought retirement, the options available to avoid the ignominy. What is the meaning of the word ignominy? It means public shame, or disgrace. Okay, and this is the word that we started with today's discussion. And what is the meaning of impeachment? Like I said, now you guys, if you remember what I said, if you guys have listened properly to if you guys listen to me, let's see if you guys do or not. So you tell me, what did I tell you the meaning of impeachment at the starting of the video? Okay, so Let's find out. And you are also supposed to give me an example sentence on impeachment, because it is a very common word and used very often, but not many people know the meaning of it. Okay, so let's get back to the statement. It is unfortunate that Justice Shukla has not meted out his resignation. That means he did not gave out, or yes, probably put down his paper, resignation, or sought retirement. So these are the two options he had, either to mete out his resignation or sought retirement. These are the options which were available to avoid public shame of impeachment in the parliament. That means impeachment in the parliament. What is the meaning of impeachment in the? Yes, question someone's integrity is the, or validity of something. Yes, that is the meaning of impeachment. So he could have avoided this. He could have avoided this by doing this or this. Okay, so this is the meaning of the statement. Now let's look at the options that fit meted out. First is administered. Second is bestowed. Next is imposed. Next is extended. Next is contributed. So of course he's not contributing his resignation. It cannot be him contributing. That means participating in something or doing a certain probably taking part in something. It is not a contribution, so it will not be contributed. Extended, it means to extend something, so it cannot be extended as well. Is he imposing his resignation? What is the meaning of imposed? It means to force. So is he forcing his resignation? No. So the only option that we have is administered. And what is the meaning of bestowed? Bestowed means to confer or to present. It can be an honor being bestowed upon us, or usually the preposition that we use with bestowed is upon. Okay, bestowed upon someone. Okay, so the I am glad that he bestowed upon us the great opportunity of participating in the TED Talk. Okay. Alright, so bestowed upon is, it cannot be something that is bestowed upon. So the right answer will be administered. Alright, what is the meaning of administered? It means manage or be responsible for. Okay, so he was supposed to manage and be responsible for his resignation. Okay. Yes, the decision was not theirs, his. We are talking about Justice Shukla being the only person in talks over here. So we are talking about, so it will be his and was not imposed on him by others. Okay, so that definitely, that's why it is not imposed. Okay. Okay. So the right, ma'am, isn't the right. So yes, Jaya Murali or Murali, I am not sure. You are right. We can use both those who have been selected, but we cannot just use those. Okay. So here in that question, if you remember, there was no use of who, there was just those. So that is wrong, okay, the wrong usage of replacing a pronoun, the wrong pronoun used for a person, okay. So those who, yes, we are talking about a specific, we are probably making the discussion more centralized, okay, we are putting it in the right direction by saying those who, okay, putting a condition, only those who, okay. So that is right, but again, only those is not right. If you got me, that is good. Okay, so the right answer will be, let's move on to the next question. Okay, the next question is, the Supreme Court observed that the bench headed by Justice Shukla had trampled on judicial propriety. Okay, now trampled on, what is the meaning of the word trampled on? Tread on or and crush it. Okay, so he had crushed the judicial propriety. What is the meaning of propriety? Conformity to conventionally accepted standards or behavior. Or even morals for that matter. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of the word infringed? We are looking at the options. What is the meaning of the word infringed? Infringed means actively okay, so probably break law or probably break an agreement. He infringed and escaped. Okay, so it means that he actively, that means he was the person who actively broke the law and escaped. Okay, so it can be law or it can be an agreement. Someone who broke an agreement is also a person called as infringed. Okay, or the verb infringed is used. Alright, next option is violated, then disobeyed, disrupted and resisted. So trampled on is tread on and crush. Okay, something that you do not accept at all and you insult it and you just stamp on it and you go about it. Okay, so it will be not, you do not show any care or concern about it, so it will be violated. Okay, so he has, what has he done? He has violated the judicial propriety. Okay, he has not infringed it. Okay, he has not disrupted it, he has not resisted it. Okay, it can be infringed as well. Actually, the right answer should be infringed and not violated. Alright. Similar to tampering, ball, resisted. Yes, the right answer should be infringed, not violated. I'm so sorry. I think the answer that was marked right in the mock test was violated, but the right answer according to me should be infringed. I'm sorry about that. Yes, both seem correct, but infringed is probably more accurate because we are talking about breaking law. Okay, we are talking about something that what Justice Shukla did was not just violated, but also he crushed the law and he broke it. Okay, so it will be option 1, not option 2 and 3 seems to be correct. I'm sorry, it will be 1. Okay, disobeying is something just not listening to someone. Okay, it's disobeying. Alright, so it should be option 1. Okay, let's go on to the next question. The fear mongering ultimately gone wrong. Okay, the fear mongering. What is the meaning of the word mongering? Is to sell or to peddle. Okay, mongering is to sell. Okay, the fear mongering ultimately gone wrong to impress. Gone wrong. Okay, you do not have to even read the rest of the sentence. It is a very, very easy phrasal verb. I don't know how many of you agree with it, but gone wrong itself is very literal. Okay, so something that is gone wrong is something that probably did not go right. Okay, something that failed, something that was supposed to go in a certain way, but it did not come out the way as expected. Okay, so that is gone wrong. Okay, so failed will be the right option. Okay, you don't have to read the rest of the sentence, you do not have to understand what it means, you just know, you just should know that it is very literal. Gone wrong means failed. Alright, let's move on to the next question. With an in-house committee at last deciding that a judge of Allahabad High Court had committed judicial impropriety serious enough to warrant his removal, the subject of corruption in the higher judiciary is in the news. Okay, I told you that usually the in RBI questions you will generally see words related to the judiciary or banking sector, judiciary or even legislative sector of words. Okay, so you have to be very careful that you know the meaning of these words: impeachment, impropriety, infringed, violated, counterpart. All these words are, yes, very, very important. Okay, so at last deciding, what is the meaning of at last deciding? Something that has been finally decided. Okay, something that has finally come into being as a conclusion. Okay, so finally concluding that a judge of Allahabad High Court had committed judicial impropriety serious enough to warrant his removal. Okay, okay, now what is the meaning of impropriety? I think we have discussed this, but let me tell the meaning again, once again, because it is an important word. It means failure to observe standards of honesty or modesty or you can just simply say improper behavior. Alright, improper behavior, or it can also be character. Okay, so that is the meaning of the word, and we have already got the meaning of at last deciding. It means nothing but concluding, drawing conclusion. Yes, inferring also means drawing conclusion. Okay, with an in-house committee at last deciding. Okay, inferring is based on observation. Okay, so you observe something and then you infer something. that is concluding with the help of observation, and this here we are not talking about observation. So that's why Chandra, the right option, will not be inferring, it should be concluding. It is not based on just observation, it is based on just judges sitting and deciding on something. Okay, okay, that is another thing. And yes, like Jaya said, I'm so sorry. Jaya Murali said, Murali or is it Murali? Yes, like he said, or she said, I'm not sure. Okay. Something that is not a definite conclusion is inferring. Okay. Alright. Let's go on to the next question. It is, however, a serious problem that women's participation in labor force has turned down sharply. Okay, what is the meaning of the word or phrase turned down? Turned down. Okay, so if you actually look at it, something that has declined. Okay, what is the meaning of spurned? Spurned means reject. Okay, so it cannot be that the women's participation in labor force has been rejected sharply. It has declined sharply. Okay, it has something that has gone down sharply, something that has decreased sharply. Okay, so the right answer will be option 3. Nothing much to discuss. If you guys are okay, let's move on to the next question. Faster. Okay. Yes, declined is the right answer. Let's go on to the next question. Now, study the following vocabularies carefully. In the given options, one pair will be either synonym or antonym. Now, that is something very tricky. Now, you have to be very, very thorough with your vocabulary, because you do not know which word is going to be what. Is it going to be a synonym? Because usually what is asked of you is to probably write down the synonym of the word, and it is clearly mentioned, so you know that it has to be a synonym. Here on the other hand, it can either be a synonym or can be an antonym. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful. So let's see. Rouse. What is the meaning of the word rouse? Rouse is a verb. We usually use it with arouse as well. Okay, that is another meaning. So rouse has two meanings. One is to cause to stop sleeping, as in become awake. And the second meaning is make angry. Okay, make angry, or it can be excited as well. Make angry or excited. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word ruddy and robust? Both the words that are starting with R, ruddy and robust, has to do with the color red. Okay, it can be on one hand, ruddy is someone having a very healthy color. Okay, so healthy red color. So someone who's not looking pale, someone who does not look pale is ruddy. Okay, and robust means strong and healthy and vigorous. Okay, is robust. Okay, so just because it starts from R does not mean it is the right answer. Okay, so they just have to do with the color red. They do not mean that it is making someone angry. Okay, so on the other hand, calm is the opposite of making angry. Okay, so yes, C is one of the right answers. And dispassionate, okay, someone who is very excited, you can call him the opposite. Both are antonyms. So the right answer will be C and D. That is D and C, option number 3. It cannot be a crime. C and D. Yes. Let's go on to the next question. Now, let's see what is the next word and try to figure out the meaning. The next word that we have is ordainment. What is the meaning of ordainment? To officially make someone a priest, or it can be anything to do with a religious ceremony. Okay, so that is the meaning of ordainment. Let's look at the options. What do we have here? We have allowance, okay, someone is asking me to make a sentence on ruddy. Okay, so his ruddy appearance made the girls in the party feel that he is a shy person. Okay, so because he was always red and he always looked very healthy, and it looked like he was blushing, and he was a shy kind of a person. So that is a sentence on ruddy because it is an adjective. That's why I used it as an adjective. Okay. Alright, so let's go back to ordainment. Ordainment means to officially make someone a priest. Okay, so it is usually an official ceremony. Okay, so something that is official. Okay, so the word that we have to concentrate on is something that is officially done. Okay, so it is not an allowance. We are not talking about giving out a certain portion. It is not rationing, and it is not accident. Okay, but accident is something that happens without someone predicting or deciding something. Okay, so it can be the opposite of ordainment. Yes. Now, incident, it should be okay, or it can be an incident. Okay, so the right answer will be B and C. It is not to cease or to close. It cannot be the opposite. Okay, so the right answer will be B and C. All right, let's go on to the next word. All right, whoever it is, can you please put your caps lock on the lowercase, because it looks like you are shouting at me. Everything is in uppercase, so make sure that you probably change that. Okay. All right, let's get back to the question. Next word that we have is paragon. Very important word, paragon. Paragon means a perfect example of something. Okay, so someone who is it can be a person or a thing who is a perfect example of a particular quality. It can be any quality. Okay, that is the meaning of paragon. What is the meaning of outcast? Outcast means it is a person, someone who's rejected. Okay, who has been rejected or criticized, okay, by their society or social group. Okay, what is the meaning of chasten? Chasten means have a restraining or moderating effect. Effect on someone or something. Okay, so it can be, chasten can be, the synonyms that we can use for chasten are humble as well. Okay. Okay, what is the meaning of ruffian? Ruffian means a violent person. Ruffian. So he is a ruffian sort of a man. Okay. And then we have accost. Accost means approach and address boldly or aggressively. Okay, so it is also to do with aggression. Both ruffian and accost is to do with aggression. Pallor, on the other hand, has come from pale. Okay, so an unhealthy pale appearance. Is the meaning of the word pallor. So we have the words and we have the meaning. So paragon basically means someone who's a perfect example of something. Someone or a person. It can be a person. It can also be a thing. Something that is a perfect example of something. Gandhiji is the paragon of non-violence. Okay, so he is the perfect example of non-violence. Okay, so that is the meaning of paragon. Now we have words like outcast. Outcast is someone who's rejected or someone who's probably thrown out from a certain society, is an outcast. Chasten, on the other hand, is someone who's very humble and has a very moderating effect on someone. Okay, ruffian is very rough. Someone who is very aggressive is ruffian. Accost is again to do with approach. Someone who approaches in a very aggressive manner. Okay, or someone who approaches very boldly. Okay, in a negative way. Okay, and pallor is again nothing to do with any of these words, which means an unhealthy, pale appearance. Okay. Alright, so let's look at now let's relate it to the question. So paragon is someone who's a perfect example of something. So the opposite will be someone who is completely thrown out from the society. Okay, someone who is treated as a perfect example of nothing. Okay, so that brings us to A. Now, again, someone who is a perfect example of a particular quality. We are talking about a quality. Then we can see a violent person being the, again, not very perfect example of something. Okay, so the two options that will suit the best will be A and C. That is option 5. Okay, got it? I explained you the meaning of all of it. Okay. Okay, why will it not be accost? Accost is a way of approaching. Okay, it is an action. So it cannot be an action because we are talking about type of people. Okay, so that's why it has to be outcast and ruffian. Okay, accosted. For example, he made a fuss in the party and accosted accosted people. Okay, so it can be that means that he approached in a very bad way. Okay, so that's why it will not be option D. Let's go on to the next question. Quench. What is the meaning of the word quench? Quench, usually we use it with thirst. Okay, so the meaning of the word quench, very easy word, is to satisfy. And satisfy what? It has to do with usually by drinking something. Okay, so drinking water, you extinguish. So the synonym can be extinguish. Okay, so let's look at the words disqualify. Qualify and disqualify has nothing to do with quenching. Okay, so not the first one. Option B is colossus. Colossus means someone who's very huge. It can be a statue or a person. That is much bigger than the life size. Okay, that is the meaning of colossus. Adjustment is to adjust. Again, I do not think I have to describe the word adjustment. Abet. Abet means encourage. Encourage or assist in what? To do something wrong. Okay, so assisting is the word that we should focus on. Okay, next is foment. Foment, again, something you must have heard, but I don't know how many of you know the meaning of foment. Foment is to instigate. Okay, instigate or stir up a fight. Okay, so what do you think will be the right answer? So on one hand, quench means to satisfy and to extinguish something. On the other hand, abet and the word foment means to instigate or ignite something. Okay, so or to encourage or to assist someone. So both are antonyms, and the right answer will be option D and option E. So third is the right answer. Okay, D and E. Yes, correct. Let's go on to the next question. Sorry about that. Smirching. What is the meaning of the word smirching? Smirch is to do something with smudge. Okay, so smirching is make something dirty. Okay, so we are looking for something that is either very tidy or clean, or we are looking for again something that is very dirty or to do with making something dirty. Okay, so let's look at the options. The first option is emancipation. What is the meaning of emancipation? Emancipation is the fact or process of being set free from legal, from what? From legal or social or political restrictions. Okay, it is basically liberation. Emancipation is nothing but liberation. All right, abulation. What is the meaning of the word abulation? Abulation means it is nothing but the act of washing oneself. So basically taking a bath is nothing but abulation. And similar to ablution is the word laving. Laving is also wash. Okay. So we can clearly see this is smirching is making something dirty. On the other hand, ablution and laving is washing. So it will be option B and option C. Okay. What is the meaning of the word sinecure? It is a position, very nice word. It is a very nice word which requires little or no effort, little work or no work, but gives a lot of returns to the holder. Okay. So it gives the holder's status as well as financial benefits. It can be financial benefits as well. So we all look for a position like that, don't we? A position which is very sinecure, a position that requires us to do very less work or very less amount of effort we have to put in, and in return we get a lot. It can be a lot, can be promotional benefits, it can be financial benefits, it can be to do with the status that you get. Usually politicians get a lot of benefits without having to do much. Here. Okay, and finally we have the word dandy. Dandy is just probably a very pretty boy or a handsome looking person, a man who's unduly concerned with looking stylish and fashionable. Okay, so but is stylish and fashionable. We usually use dandy for dandelion. Okay, so lions are fashionable without even trying. That is dandy. Okay. Okay, so the right answer will be option B and option C. Yes, 2. Okay, let's go on to the okay. Cool drinks, guys, it's better to use cold drinks. Okay, cold drinks quench our thirst. Yes, they quench our thirst. It is absolutely right, Sony. No problem over there. Okay, and please do not get worried looking at these words, because again, like I have been saying, if you have a list of words that are, if you start remembering few of the words, you will see a pattern. They keep occurring. They keep coming again and again. Okay, so you do not have to worry and get frightened. Oh my God, words are very tough and things like that. If you see the words, if you see the pattern, there is a pattern in every question. So like I said, these words are mostly to deal with words with legislative, executive body, or to do with finance. Okay, now remember that it gets tricky where they ask you either synonym or antonym. So you have to be very, very good with both of it. Alright, so now without wasting time, do not worry, I am there. So we will together solve these problems and finally you will be able to get through it. Do not worry. Okay, let's get back. Okay, now we have a separate type of different type of question. You have to arrange these following into A, B, C, D, E, F. You have been given the options and you have to, these are parajumbles, you have to arrange it in a proper order. Okay, so let's start with the by reading the first option A. One of the biggest reason for this price boom is this price boom, so this cannot be the first option. So let's forget about this for now. Okay, we have to first find out which one is the introductory statement. So let's look at the second option, the newer cryptocurrency, which is supposed to be a faster version of Bitcoin, with a larger supply of coins increased from around $100 on December 8th to more than $370 by December 12th, a gain of 270%. Okay. Now, so this looks like it can be the introductory statement, a newer cryptocurrency. So we are talking about nothing but a cryptocurrency which is newer version of Bitcoin, okay, which was introduced and it quickly gained 270%, okay. It had a gain between a span of 8 December to 12 December, it increased by 270%. So yes, this is talking about a newer cryptocurrency. So first we will keep the option B as the starting statement for now, okay. Okay, now let's look at the next. The question is, why did Litecoin shoot up? Okay, so one of the biggest reason for this price boom, okay, so here we have the price boom, shoot up. We are talking about the Litecoin, mention of Litecoin. This does not seem to have any mention of Litecoin. So first statement should have the first topic introduced at least, right? So B does not seem to be the first option. The question is, so we are talking about a question, so first there has to be an introductory statement, then the questions have to follow, okay, and then the answers have to follow. There were no changes in the technology or new version of currency. Okay, again, very abrupt sort of statement. This cannot be the initial statement as well. If you thought Bitcoin was been on a wild ride, what is the meaning of wild ride? Something that is unexpected, okay, something that something that happens unexpectedly is being on the wild ride. Usually in amusement park you are on the wild ride because you, whatever the rides that you enjoy are somewhat unexpected. You get an unexpected feeling in your stomach and things like that, okay. So that is wild ride, okay. If you thought Bitcoin was been or has been on a wild ride, check what happened recently with Litecoin. So this seems to be the first mention of Litecoin. So E is the first statement, okay. And then follows B, the newer cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is the newer cryptocurrency. We are talking about Litecoin over here. Okay, which is supposed to be a faster version of Bitcoin with a larger supply of coin, increased such and such, and gained 270 profit. Then we ask the question, what is the question? What is the big question? The question is, why did Litecoin shoot up in the span of, we are talking about this shoot up. Okay, the gain of 270%, shoot up in the span of few days. So option C comes next. And we also say that where is the answer for, there was no news to speak of. Okay, it suddenly shoot up. So it is talking about, even though there was nothing, it suddenly shoot up. Okay, there were no changes, there was no news to speak of. Then comes D, there were no changes in technology or new version of the currency. Okay, and finally we have only one option left, that is A. So the order will be, one of the biggest reason for this price boom, we are talking about the price boom, is that Litecoins now has an exchange where investors can easily purchase, so on and so forth. Okay. Alright, Sony, I wish you feel well soon. Okay, get better soon. Wish you a speedy recovery. Alright. Rest of you, please concentrate. It's almost done. We are almost at the end of the session. So the right order will be EBCFDA. Okay, that is the right order. So the first question that is asked is, which of the following sentence will be the last sentence will come last after the rearrangement. So it will be, we have rearranged it in this order: E, B, which forms the mandatory pair, C, F, D, mandatory pair, and A. So last is A. Next one is, which of the following sentence will come fourth? Okay, so fourth is F. Next is, which of the following, fourth is F, last is A. Which of the following will be third? Third is C. Which will be second? Second is B. Which will be first? First is E. So it was, I think the parajumble that we got was pretty simple. What do you think? I think it was pretty simple, okay? Let's quickly move on to the last section of today's paper discussion. The last section that we will be discussing is a passage given to you and numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So let's see what each fill in the blanks have to do. Okay, what should we fill in with? Okay, the hope that private cryptocurrency, again we are talking about currency, would become dash money suffered a setback last week. So we are talking about private cryptocurrency becoming something of a big deal. Okay, something that is very common, something that becomes a natural habit. So people who thought that, or the hope that we had that it becomes a natural thing, suffered a setback last week. Okay, so it was not as expected. It was a setback. So let's look at the option that it will become common. No, we are not talking about it becoming common. We are talking about it becoming mainstream. Okay, something that is the way people start living or start depending on something. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word mainstream? Mainstream is the ideas and attitudes or activities that are shared by most people. Okay, so most people thought it will become something of a and regarded as normal. So soon it will become a normal thing to do. Like we have ATM transactions now, online transaction becoming something very normal. So same we thought of cryptocurrency becoming, it will become mainstream. Okay. Alright, so the right answer will be option 2. It is not current, it is not accepted, no, or established or common. Alright. Let's go on to the next option, option 2. In his budget speech, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley for the first time said that cryptocurrencies such as bitcoins are not legal form of money. So this was the setback that we were talking about, that Arun Jaitley announced that bitcoins are not legal form of money in India and that the government would take steps to dash their use. So to probably stop their usage or to probably control their use is what we are referring to over here. So let's look at the options. Okay, so first we have to look at 2. In his budget speech, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley for the first time said. So he clearly said, we are talking about something that is clearly said. Okay, so we are not, we'll not say doubtless said, because it is not in the adverb, okay, adverb form. Usually whatever comes here has to be in the adverb. It has to be an adverb, okay. Categorically, he did not say it categorizing to something. Not finally, not categorically, not obviously. It will be explicitly. and the meaning of the word explicitly is clearly, or the meaning of the word explicitly is clearly, or something that is said with certainty or clarity. Okay, so explicitly said that cryptocurrencies such as bitcoins are not legal form of money in India, and that the government would take steps to dash their use. What steps? To what their use, to stop their use, to eliminate. Will it be eliminate, or will it be expel? Expel, what is the meaning of expel? Officially make someone leave. Okay, make someone leave. So we are not talking about leaving, Bitcoin leaving, and this is usually to do with schools and colleges. So I was expelled from school, I was expelled from college is the use of the word expel. However, on the other hand, we are talking about eliminating it, completely getting rid of Bitcoins. Okay, so the right answer should be option 4, that is eliminate. Okay, option 4, eliminate. All right. Let's look at the next. Fourth option, Mr. Jaitley is not the only politician worldwide to consider cryptocurrency a danger to the status quo. Okay, what is the meaning of status quo? If anyone can tell me, status quo means the present condition or situation. Okay, present situation or condition. So Arun Jaitley is not the only person who said that that cryptocurrencies are a danger to the current situation. Okay, so under the guise of protecting investors, what is the meaning of guise? It means appearance or manner. Okay, under the guise of protecting investors, government in China and South Korea recently took steps to dash the use of cryptocurrency, thus adding to the extreme dash. Okay, so under the guise of protecting investors, okay, so they put up an appearance that they are trying to protect the investors, and under that guise, under that disguise, that's why we call it disguise. Okay, under that guise, the government of China and South Korea recently, what did they do? They took steps to dash the use of cryptocurrency. So let's see what are the options we have available: to quell, to suppress, to interrupt. It is not to interrupt. Okay, what is the meaning of quell? Put an end to. Okay, and suppress is to restrain. Okay, so we are trying to restrain the use of, not put an end to. They were not, South Korea and China were not trying to put an end to. They were trying to put a face where they are trying to protect the investors, and took steps to suppress the use of cryptocurrency. Okay, because they were trying to show that they are protecting the investors, they did it in a very subtle way. So they were trying to suppress it by showing concerns towards the investors. Okay, to suppress the use of cryptocurrencies, thus adding an final one, thus adding to the extreme dash of their price moves, thus adding an extreme dash of their price move. Okay, so all right. So last one. So what are they trying to do? They were trying to suppress the use of cryptocurrency, thus adding to the extreme dash of their price moves. So thus adding a extreme. Will it be playfulness? They are not trying to be playful over here. Will it be explosive? Are they trying to be explosive to explode? No, definitely not. So this is also not the right answer. Are they trying to be volatile? Something that is volatile is something that is not very stable. Okay, so unstable. Are they trying to show their happiness of flirting? Definitely not. Okay, so the only option that we have remaining is volatility. So the right answer will be, they were trying to show their volatility. Alright, so option 3 is the right answer. Yes, most of you got it. Volatility, suppress volatility. Alright, so this brings us to the end of today's session. I think and I hope that you enjoyed the session. Like I always say, I always enjoy these sessions. So if you have any doubts, please post it on the dashboard and we will take it up tomorrow. We have another doubt clarification session, so we will be back tomorrow. Till then, sleep well guys, good night. I hope all your doubts are cleared, and we will definitely work towards improving our vocabulary even more. Okay, so next class onwards, more focus on vocabulary because it is the need of the hour. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Hope to see you soon. That is tomorrow. Bye bye.